Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio today with Preston Sports Cheetah and Ralph Michaels from Cal Sports. Guys, we're going to take a look at a game that at the beginning of the season looked like was going to be a great matchup, Miami of Florida and Notre Dame, but things have changed drastically. Miami of Florida, after rolling off 4 straight, they've lost 3 in a row. And Notre Dame, well, they've just been playing bad, and it might be the end of Brian Kelly. The hot seat is getting pretty hot there in South Bend. I'll start with you, Preston. What do you look here with Notre Dame with what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams are kind of going in the same direction, maybe Notre Dame more so than Miami. I think Notre Dame comes off of a bye, which helps them maybe as far as the preparation goes for the matchup. My actual numbers pick, I've been surprised, I guess, to see Hurricane money early. I think I saw them up to 1.5 or 2, as favorites goes. But it's really tough to back the Irish right now, and you just don't know what to expect. You don't know how much there is to that Brian Kelly rumor that maybe he's going to be canned during the season or at least after the season. They're still in, decent position to make a bowl. That's, I guess, one thing they can play for at this point, at 2-5, or I think this is their record. But they still have a couple of tough games going. I mean, they basically have to win out. So it's not one I can bet at the current number. If it got to 3 or 3.5, I'd probably look at Notre Dame just from the sheer value of getting a field goal at home and off the bye. But it's just not a matchup I think I can stomach to bet ultimately unless the number gets out of hand.
Ralph, one thing with Notre Dame and tradition and everything, I don't think they would fire Kelly in season. It would be something that would happen after the season. We look at Miami, and as I said, they started out 4-0, and once they got into conference play, it looks like Mark Richt brought his same tendencies from Georgia, because the defense has played good, but all of a sudden, where did the offense go? They've done nothing in the last 3 games. Can they right that? And boy, if there's ever a team to right your offensive problems against, it is Notre Dame.
You know what? I perceive this game as night and day, and I am going to back the Miami Hurricanes here. On one situation, you have a new head coach who started off with some positive vibes with those 4 big wins. But you got to remember, this is a team that is still down a lot of scholarships because of the Shapiro debacle a few years ago. They started 6 true freshmen last week out of their starting 22 players. But they still have a brand new head coach, and they still have hope moving forward. I think the opposite for Notre Dame. At 2-5, even if they get to 6 wins, they probably turn down the bowl. Remember, a few years ago, they got to 6-6, and the only reason they went to the bowl because it was Hawaii and it wasn't a secondary nothing bowl. But for Notre Dame to be 6-6, they're not going to a bowl. So for all intents and purposes, their season is over. On paper, Miami, the number 32 strength of schedule. We talked about this article in another video. They're plus 71 yards per game. Notre Dame, the number 50 57th schedule, and they're plus 14 points per game. I have a young, hungry team with a new head coach that beating Notre Dame means something big. And on the flip side, I have a 2-5 team that's off 3 straight home losses that knows they're going to have a new coach next year. And if they screw up, they get blasted by this head coach in the post-game videos. And I think there's just a different dynamic. So I'm making a very strong lean towards the Miami Hurricane.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Miami side. And we talk about the 3 straight losses, but 2 of those losses, one was to Florida State, who plays good defense. We talked about it in an earlier video, you, Brian, and Scott, about how well Florida State's defense is starting to play. And the other one was Virginia Tech. And now that was a nationally televised game, so the public got to see Miami get rolled. So I think, I thought it would get more line value. I was surprised to see the line move the way that it did. But sharps betting early in the week are agreeing with us on the Miami side. And the only game that I can't explain, though, is the one that concerns me is the North Carolina game, because North Carolina doesn't have a great defense, and Miami didn't get anything going against them.
One more comparison between these 2 teams. Those 3 losses we talked about for Miami, Florida State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, all are currently ranked in the AP Top 25. Notre Dame's 2 wins this year against Nevada's a 109 defense, Syracuse's number 88 defense. Miami still comes in with the number 16D this week.
Preston, if you had to play this one?
I think I'd go against you guys. I actually think I'd take Notre Dame just the edge in a couple points. It is. I think that Florida State Miami game. I think Miami actually missed an extra point to go to OT. Like at
Right,
the very
they did.
end, they might have won that game anyways, and they led in most of the first half. So it's definitely a better Miami team than I think a 4-3. Or in that Virginia Tech, the matchup against the run D from Virginia Tech just didn't really work for them. But yeah, I still think getting Notre Dame getting points or plus 120 or whatever on the money line would be my pick.
All right, so you got a lean from Preston on Notre Dame. Ralph's on Miami. I'm on Miami, so we'll see which way that one goes. Guys, if you want to save $10 this weekend at Wager Talk, it's Halloween weekend. Use coupon code TREAT in the number 10, and we'll treat you to $10 off a package at Wager Talk. And you can always use that on the weekend all access. $69. Pick your favorite capper. Get all of their plays Thursday through Monday. And right now, guys, it's an even bigger value. You're going to get football, baseball, and we got the NBA rolling as well. You get it all Thursday through Monday for just $69. Check it out, wagertalk.com. We'll be back with more